Monmouth University suffers a loss in the community, Apple fixes a major glitch, and a famous newsmaker is fired for sexual misconduct allegations. All this and more on Hawk TV News.
Hawk TV News. I'm Hania Sarsar.
And I'm Jack Rival. The Monmouth University community mourns the loss of Dr. David Teague. He was an associate professor of English graduate faculty and the director of the first-year composition. He passed away at his home on Tuesday, November 28th. He was a devoted father to his daughter, Carly, and took great pride in her accomplishments. The family requests that gift donations be made in his memory to the Dr. David J. Teague Memorial Scholarship. His funeral was held on Saturday, December 2nd at Damiano Funeral Home in Long Branch.
President Donald Trump's former national security advisor, Michael Flynn, pleaded guilty on Friday to lying to the FBI about conversations with the Russian ambassadors during the 2016 presidential campaign. The FBI stated a statement that Flynn communicated with the then Russian ambassador, Sergei Kislyak, after being asked by a senior Trump official. Sources stated that Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, is the senior official referred to in the courtroom. Flynn pleaded guilty and agreed to cooperate with the special counsel official.
Israel launched missiles at a Syrian army depot near Damascus. This was not an isolated incident, as the Israeli Air Force said it attacked Syrian military convoys hundreds of times during the Syrian civil war. However, this time around, there were only material losses suffered. This comes at a time when President Trump is likely to fulfill his campaign promise of recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, says a senior administration official. While he is expected to once again delay moving the embassy to Jerusalem, the spokesperson for Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas said it would undermine the peace process. The international community does not recognize Israel's claim to all of Jerusalem.
North Korea has renewed testing missiles with a recent launch, the first of its kind in 75 days. It is described as a breakthrough success by Pyongyang, while South Korea claims that some aspects are still unproven. Berlin condemned that the test on the grounds that it violates international law and has removed a third diplomat from the country. US-based experts believe the missiles are 2 or 3 tests from becoming combat ready. Once completed, Washington would be in range, according to Seoul, but the tested are not common during the winter. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Nikki Haley said that the North Korean leadership would be utterly destroyed if the war broke out. This drew criticism from Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, who warned America that military action would be a mistake while promoting a peaceful diplomatic solution. The UN will meet on December 15th to discuss North Korea.
Apple released a recent security update to fix a major bug. The issue impacted users with Mac OS High Sierra 10.13.1. The bug permitted anyone to act as the administrator and bypass security procedures when specific words and phrases were used. No password in the users and groups section of system preferences and gain administrator level access to the computer. By doing so, a person could negatively compromise the computer. To update your computer, go to the App Store on your Mac and click Updates in this toolbar section.
We now have to take a short break, but when we return, we will take an exclusive look at a Monmouth University forum in Snapchat's new Redesign.
Wake up, bring on the sunny morning. Wake up, bring on the sunny morning. Wake up with us.
This is Hawk TV News, and we've got it covered.
This is Hawk TV News.
This is Hawk TV News, and we've got it covered.
We now go to my co-anchor covering a forum about the school-to-prison pipeline.
We're here at the McGill Dining Hall at a forum discussing our country's prison systems, specifically why we need to make prisons more like schools and schools less like prisons. Let's go take a look inside. There are more prisoners in New Jersey than there are high school teachers.
I have to admit that I myself was really stunned by that statistic, and as a sociology professor, I do know many statistics about the school-to-prison pipeline, but that really hit me very hard, and I thought it was a pretty tragic illustration of the valuing of incarceration over education in our nation right now. So I was very troubled by that statistic and quite shocked.
It's an experience I will never forget in my entire life. The things that they share with you, you have to question whether it's for the betterment of the class or whether they just want to vent to you because they don't have anybody else to talk to.
You too will someday serve time behind bars. It makes the social networks that we take for so granted almost impossible to form. It makes thriving economies almost impossible to create.
It's a huge problem. One of the concerns is that we over-incarcerate, so people get locked up for small things, people get locked up for big things. Once they're in the criminal justice system, it's very hard to get out.
Seems like the students learned a lot today, and they can take what they've learned to help this issue improve. I'm Jack Ribel for Hawk TV News. Snapchat unveiled a significant redesign of its app to make it easier to use. The new design will still open up to a camera, but promises a clear distinction between content from friends and content from publishers. If you swipe right, you will see a redesigned Discover page. If you swipe left from the camera, you will see a Friends page that has chats and stories. Snapchat has a total audience of 178 million daily users.
Facebook is now using an artificial intelligence to identify posts, live streams, and videos that contain suicidal thoughts. The AI technology will prioritize the order in which its team reviews the posts. If the team determines a post needs immediate intervention, Facebook may work with responders to send help. The social network may also reach out to users on Facebook Messenger with links to National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, Crisis Text Line, and a National Eating Disorder Association. This move follows criticism after a few incidents where suicides and graphic events were live streamed.
On December 1st, the Netflix original series Stranger Things released a statement via Twitter that they are going to proceed with the production of Season 3. When Season 2 premiered, creators of the show Matt and Ross Duffer stated that they were already 2 days into writing the new season. With plenty of unfinished business after the end of Season 2, fans of the show expressed their excitement for the upcoming season. This highly popular 80s homage will return home for Season 3 in 2018.
On November 13th, former NBC News anchor Matt Lauer expressed his feelings on the controversial firing. The New York Times reports that Lauer expressed sorrow and regret for the pain he has caused. This marks Lauer's first public comments since being fired from the Today Show. Allegations rose in recent weeks of inappropriate sexual behavior with colleagues. Now Lauer argues that not all what is being said about him is true. He says that there are some details that are being mischaracterized. This abrupt downfall comes in the midst of a series of head-spinning harassment and abuse claims under the powerful men in the industry of journalism, comedy, and Hollywood.
We have to take a short break, but stay tuned for more Hawk TV news.
The first day stepping on the court, I couldn't keep up. That motivated me to step up my game. When I reach a goal, I set a new one the next day. And my next goal is to go to college. Mastering the court takes persistence. So does getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
After school today, I will be dead. I can't go on any longer. Nobody even knows I exist. They pass through me like air, like nothingness. That's what I am. Nothing.
Oh, emojis! I thought the conversation just got dumber.
Ugh, internet trolls, just ignore them.
I like you just the way you are.
I believe in you! She's a hugger. Give her a squeeze.
Help up the hand!
Ah, there you go.
Thanks, mate.
You're killing it, Jane!
Welcome back to Hawk TV News. We now go to Ryan Sullivan for the best gifts to give during this holiday season.
The holiday season is now in full swing, which means Christmas is right around the corner. According to the annual research from the Consumer Technology Association, 68% of U.S. adults plan to buy tech-related gifts this holiday season. With that in mind, I thought it would be fitting to rank the top 5 tech gifts for this holiday season. Coming in at number 5 is the Roku media player and remote. This streaming media player is compatible with almost all TVs and provides an HD viewing experience, all while beating most of the competition's prices, listed at $98 on Amazon. Next up at number 4 is the Amazon Echo 2nd Generation. This hands-free voice-controlled speaker has improved upon its predecessor in every way, even the price at an affordable $99. Moving on to number 3, we have the Apple Watch 3. The newest Apple smartwatch takes convenience to the next level, enabling LTE on the watch so it can be in use even when someone's phone is out of range. This is the perfect gift for an athletic type who is always on the go. At number 2 comes one of the more expensive gifts of the season, the iPhone X. The new facial recognition, along with a sharper camera and longer battery life, has made this one of the year's most desired gifts. Finally, at number 1 is the Nintendo Switch. This gaming console has changed the way people can experience their gaming. It is designed for at-home and on-the-go play, making it much more accessible. Hopefully this gives you some ideas for your holiday list. That's all for this week in tech news. Back to you guys at the desk.
The Asbury Park Holiday Bazaar returns to the Grand Arcade and Convention Hall this holiday season. The bazaar features multiple vendors, live music, pictures with Santa, and crafts for the kids. There will also be a toy and coat drive, and those who donate an item or coat will receive a print of their photo with Santa. The event runs from noon to 5 p.m. every Saturday and Sunday through December 10th, and on Sunday, December 17th, and Saturday, December 23rd.
The 2018 Grammy nominations are here. The award show will take place on January 28th. Nominees for the record of the year include Childish Gambino, Luis Fonsi, and Daddy Yankee, featuring Justin Bieber, Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar, and Bruno Mars. Nominees for album of the year include Childish Gambino, Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar, and Bruno Mars, and Lorde. Song of the year nominees are Despacito, 44 Issues, 1-800-273-8255, and That's What I Like. You can check out the rest of the nominations on Grammy.com.
With the holidays coming up, we now go to Cara Chivarella for the best places to go in New York City.
As someone who spends a lot of time in the city, I'm here to tell you about my top 5 places to visit during Christmas time. My first stop in visiting New York is always Rockefeller Center. Not only is this location home to amazing TV shows such as Late Night with Seth Meyers, but it's also home to the famous Christmas tree that millions visit each year. One of my favorite restaurants is also located here, called the Rock Center Cafe. For some, this restaurant is a little pricey, but you can't beat the views when eating here. If you're lucky enough to have a window seat, you may even get to see professional figure skaters putting on a show just a few feet away at the Rockefeller Center. After your meal, I recommend actually going ice skating there. It's an amazing feeling to say that you got to ice skate at a world-known rink. The second place you should definitely visit in New York around the holidays is Bryant Park. Here you will find a Christmas village where you can get all of your holiday shopping done in one place. During this time of the year, the park is filled with little vendors and shops, and you'll be guaranteed to find a gift for everyone on your shopping list. There's even a section of the village dedicated to food, so when you get tired of shopping, you can pick a food stand and buy anything you want, ranging from french fries to crepes. Also, as a cheaper option compared to Rockefeller Center, Bryant Park also has a larger and more family-friendly ice skating rink. Moving on to the third place, I recommend going to Radio City Music Hall to see the Christmas Spectacular. After seeing the Rockettes do the Toy Soldier dance a few years back, I highly recommend seeing the show at least once in your life. The fourth place you must visit is Macy's in Herald Square. Not only is this the world's largest department store with 2 million square feet, but there's also amazing window displays on the outside of the store. Each display is interactive and changes annually, so there's always something new to see. Moving on to my final recommendation, Dylan's Candy Bar on 3rd Ave is the place to go for all of your holiday candy. The 3-level candy store features every single type of candy and chocolate that you can imagine, and you'll definitely feel like a little kid again. Well, that's all the places I recommend you check out in New York. Until next time, happy holidays, and back to you guys at the desk.
On the morning of November 29th, President Trump retweeted a series of anti-Muslim videos posted by the deputy leader of Britain First, Jada Franson. Saeed Havid, the community secretary and Muslim, wrote on Twitter, "So POTUS has endorsed the views of a vile, hate-filled, racist organization that hates me and people like me. He is wrong, and I refuse to let it go and say nothing." Therefore, Trump's UK visit that had to take place in January, invited by Prime Minister Theresa May, has been canceled. The New York Times describes the cancellation as an easy decision for the Prime Minister.
We now go to Tips on the Go with my co-anchor.
It's no secret that college students do not get enough sleep. It can be a little tough sometimes with studying, activities, clubs, hanging out with friends, or working. The cure for sleep difficulties can often be found in your daily routine. Today, I'm going to share with you 5 tips that will hopefully help you get better sleep. Tip number 1 is to try to go to bed and get up at the same time every day. A sleep routine helps your body's internal clock and the quality of your sleep. This can be hard to do, especially on weekends when sleeping in is my favorite thing to do. Try to choose a bedtime when you normally feel tired at, so you're not just laying in bed. Tip number 2 is to be smart about your food choices. Your eating habits play a huge role in how well you sleep. Try to limit caffeine intake after lunch, since caffeine is a stimulant that can disrupt your sleep. If you're studying late or just need some energy, try a peanut butter and jelly sandwich on whole wheat toast, a banana, or yogurt with granola. If you are craving some coffee, fill half your cup instead, or try decaffeinated coffee or tea. Also, try to cut back on fatty foods such as fried food, white bread, and rice and pasta. These will take longer to digest and can affect your sleep. Tip number 3 is to exercise. This can promote more regular sleep patterns and reduce stress. However, it's advisable to avoid exercise around 3 hours before bedtime, since it could be more difficult to fall asleep. Tip number 4 is to avoid bright screens within an hour or 2 of your bedtime. It is a good idea to minimize this light by turning down the brightness. It is especially hard for college students like me because our cell phones are one of the final things we look at before we go to sleep. And tip number 5 is to limit long daytime naps. If you take extensive naps, they can interfere with your nighttime sleep. So try to limit yourself to 30 minutes and avoid naps close to your bedtime. It is recommended by the Mayo Clinic to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep if you are over the age of 18 years old. 8 hours is a good medium that will provide you with enough sleep for a productive day. Hopefully these tips will help you get better sleep for college and beyond. That's all for this edition of Tips on the Go. Back to you guys at the desk. We have to take another short break, but when we return, Donald Coher has an exciting recap of Monmouth sports.
The first day stepping on the court, I couldn't keep up. That motivated me to step up my game. When I reach a goal, I set a new one the next day. And my next goal is to go to college. Mastering the court takes persistence. So does getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
I look up to a lot of the older heads, you know, the innovators, the heads of the art movements of the past. They kept it really edgy, and like a lot of the Latin American muralists and Latin American artists, and their styles were very unique and new to their time. You know, somewhat controversial, but that's who I look up to mainly. Personally, I'm very excited about going to college. It's something new and it's something different than what I'm used to. I'm definitely going to be a little out of my element, but that's what makes it so exciting, is that, you know, it's something fresh. Well, there's so many opportunities that I think I could miss out on if I didn't go, you know? Getting into college takes planning and vision. You know, it's just like when I take a brick wall and turn it into a canvas for my art. Paintings help me realize that I've got what it takes.
It's time to join forces. Get energized and fuel up right. Because starting today, every kid in America has a mission. Bring out the action hero in you. Be part of the greatest action movie ever. The first movie that puts you in the action. Show us how you train and eat like an action hero. Join in at actionheroalliance.com.
For those dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love.
Welcome back. Let's get to your latest with your Monmouth Hawks. The men's and women's swim team competed at the ECAC Winter Championship for the second year in a row. The men's team improved their standings from last year, placing 5th out of 13 teams, while the women's team finished 16th out of 17 teams. Over the 3-day weekend, both swim teams set 15 team records, and several swimmers recorded personal season highs and career best finishes. The men's team took 3rd place in the 200-yard medley relay as swimmers Eric Sorensen, Austin D'Angelo, Hunter Klinginger, and Tyler Luder recorded a time of 3 minutes and 34 seconds. Both the men's and women's swim teams will return to action January 16th. The men's and women's track teams opened up their 2017-2018 season with a win at Ocean First Bank Center Classic. Both overpowered teams from Wagner College and Montclair State. The men's team collected a total of 213 points, while the women's team racked up 199 points to seal the meet. The women's team landed the top 5 spots in the women's weight throw, with senior Kenesha Okariki and sophomore Jordan Wildermeth finishing 1st and 2nd. Senior Tim Wilson took 1st place in the men's weight throw, tossing 19.43 meters. Several Hawks qualified for the ECAC Division I championships and will continue to set their win streak as they compete with Princeton New Year Invitational on December 9th. The women's basketball team fell to Robert Morris Colonials 56-38 on December 3rd. The Hawks shot 14 for 45 from the field and 3 from 16 from 3. Sophomore Kayla Shaw scored 19 points for the Hawks, and senior Rhea Spooner Knight scored an additional 8 points and grabbed 5 rebounds in the loss. The Hawks now drop to 2-6 on the season and hope to bounce back when they take on Virginia Tech on December 12th. The men's basketball team fell to UConn in a down-to-the-wire overtime matchup, 84-81. Junior Micah Seaborn scored his career high in 27 points, and senior Zach Tillman added 13 points. The Hawks came back from a 7-point deficit in the second half and even led by 4 in the overtime period. But a jumper by Jalen Adams put the Huskies in front with 32 seconds left in the game. The Hawks will look to bounce back when they travel to Jadwin Gymnasium to take on the Princeton Tigers on December 12th. That's all I have for sports. To find out more about your Hawks and keep up with the latest in professional sports, tune into The Extra Point right here on Hawk TV. Back to you at the desk.
That's all for this week of Hawk TV News. Thank you for joining us. I'm Hania Sarsar.
And I'm Jack Reibel. Be sure to tune in next time for another edition of Hawk TV News.
So M Factor is basically a take on X Factor. So we have performers either just with their music or they have their guitars or pianos. It's basically a talent competition. One person gets voted off every week. We try to do different themes, and I think the season's been going pretty well. We have a really great act, and I can't wait to see what next week brings.
My name is Christopher Sabatino. I'm the director of tonight's program. So basically I just look at the monitor here and see which camera shots look good, and while I'm looking at those, I decide which ones to go to. Then I tell the technical director who sits in the chair over there which cameras to cut to.
Are you working the Steadicam tonight?
I am.
What does that entail?
It entails a lot of steady hands and a lot of watching my back so I don't run into Dylan. He's on the other camera and he likes getting in my way.
Hawk TV News is our campus news show. We try to keep it as professional as possible. So we're just learning things about the industry. We have Professor Scott to teach us a lot of things, and we have all this great equipment. We have this great opportunity. So we're all just trying to make it in the news industry. So this is the perfect start.
During the week, you have to get the rundown together. But before you have to do that, you have to make the script so you can follow that to make everything else.
I showed up to basically every shoot for Hawk TV News, and then I also participated in other shows. So really participating, trying to learn like a little bit of everything, or trying to just have the persistence to try everything. I think that's like a big part of like rising up.
You see right here on the camera right here, this helps them know what they're reading, so they can read off of a camera and it looks like they're talking right to you. So you're the guy that controls how fast it goes? I'm the guy that controls how fast it goes. I'm only a key in the cog. I'm only part of the process.
I like the feeling to be confident, and every time I anchor more, I feel more confident with myself. I get more familiar with reading off the teleprompter, and I just love meeting new people when I anchor with them.